into our next game, into our next series, into another TvP. Oh boy, and it's gonna have to be after this series where we can go over some of the results and the bracket itself. A lot has been going on. There are favorites, there are upsets, there are dark horses in the tournament, but we are here in another TvP, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos and currently leading this. I know he's leading the series 1-0. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It sounds so weird to say it like that. On the Platinum Heroes, representing them as well, it is Vindicta. I caught myself from saying representing the CranKy Ducklings. That's why I felt really awkward for a moment. The ex-CranKy Duckling, Miguelito himself. Let's go, Papi, let's go. And yeah, we'll see how this all does unfold. Again, we did miss out on game number 1. That was occurring as we were in game 2 of our own series. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. NightMare is one of the other favorites. He's one of the few Koreans that was able to sign up for this tournament. I say few Koreans, one of the few big name Koreans. Like, shout out to Honmono. Again, he did make Max bleed, of course, but NightMare is going to be the other big name here, looking to vie for that #1 spot. As he's already leading the series, but he does have a pretty powerful player ahead of him. Vindicta, of course, has been in that hyperbolic time chamber. He has been practicing and training quite a bit, streaming as well, smudging, having some fun, judging TLMC maps. You know, the usual. And we'll see how this all does unfold. Unlike Honmono, Vindicta is a little bit less aggressive, or I should say he's less all-in. Honmono, every single TvP, you expect him to pull the boys. You know, if he's not pulling the boys, he's not Honmono. It's clearly someone else playing on his account, Kappa. But Vindicta, you know, he's just setting up for a Rax Expand. CC on the low ground. Does he go for 2 base plays? He does sprinkle them in, don't get me wrong. Does sprinkle them in from time to time. But for the most part, he thrives in the mid game. You know, Vindicta, he thrives in drop play. He's all over the map, you know, pushing the 3rd, dropping the main army, pushing into the 4th. You know, there's typically a lot going on. If Vindicta can get into the mid game in a good position, then, mate, he can pop off. He, of course, excels in his multitasking. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can get there in a good enough position. For the time being, the Reaper is being zoned away by the Adept. Oh, the Adept does keep up with said Reaper and almost takes it down. Does end up committing to the shade and moving out across the map. Back at home, we do have a Twilight Council opener from NightMare. I almost called him Night Phoenix. I'm still waking up. Ay. So this is a Twilight Council opener into that blink, and we'll keep an eye on things. We'll see if a NightMare does go for 3-gate, 4-gate, or even just a 2-gate blink to go into a faster 3rd base. I feel like we don't see 2-gate blink too often on Gresvan. I feel like it isn't the worst blink map in general to invest into more gateways, but the Hellion ignores that Stalker. It dives on in, confirms the tech, sees the Twilight Council researching, and dives into the main as well. So a good amount of scouting information from Vindicta. He is even able to, for some lost mine time, chip away at the mineral line before he gets cleaned up. And NightMare is in fact going for a 2-gate into a 3rd base. Oh, as the Reaper goes down. So again, only 2 gateways here. So a very economic opener from NightMare into a faster 3rd base. So he's not going to be aggressive. He's not going to be assertive. He's not going to be too active on the map. Meanwhile, Vindicta is going for a bit of a mine drop. I say a bit because there's only 1 mine. Interesting choice here. So this won't be looking to do damage. This is more designed to get scouting information. That's typically the big role of these mine drops for Terran, especially when we don't invest into an armory. Like, Protoss players shouldn't be losing too much to these. Like, they should be able to pull away in time and only lose 1 probe, if that. 3rd base has been confirmed here by Vindicta. And now he's able to threaten the natural, but oh, the Stalkers are forced to blink. And this is the other added benefit here of this drop, is that it does tie up supply. It does force Stalkers to stay here at the natural and again, not be active. On top of that, he gets eyes on the Forge. If he dips in a little bit further, he'll get eyes on the Robo Bay as well, which he can read anyway. Like, because we have a fast third base, we should be taking up even further into Colossi. That should be the direction forward here for NightMare. Meanwhile, back at home, Vindicta's just setting up on 2 bases. You know, we have Stim on the way, Marauder production commencing, just going for a bit of an add-on swap to go into that combat shields. And Vindicta's pretty well set up here with 2 tanks, just to make sure that he's safe against any kind of blink play. 1 tank at the natural. We should have a tank in the main as well, covering the production line. And Vindicta just splitting up his army, setting up here, just in case we did have a random prism come out and NightMare just, you know, threading the main. Meanwhile, across the map, ooh, it looks like that mine drop did pay off. 4 probes did go down here at the third base. The Widow mine did go down, but for 1 mine, well worth it here for Vindicta. Also, did he scout much else? Not too much here. His units are going to be pushed away by these Stalkers. And Vindicta is going for a third base. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Again, he's not as all-in as Honmono. We have a third CC. We have more longevity here to this game. Vindicta is looking to get into the mid-game when he can. But NightMare sees everything. With this Observer, he does get eyes on exactly when the third CC is commenced. He knows, Papi. He knows. As the third CC moves out, as the third CC gets thrown down, NightMare can move out, as he knows his opponent is being more economic. He's looking to just be active here, slow down any kind of push. Ooh, even catch a medevac! Oh, a medevac will go down. Very nice pickoff here from NightMare. At the same time, we have a double drop slipping out across the map. NightMare, does he get eyes on it? Looks like he does! Ooh. The drop will get cleaned up. The mine will go down as well. Very nice reactions here from NightMare. Very nice map control as well. That is 2 medevacs going down, and that is not like uneventful. That's the word I'm looking for. That's nothing. That's pretty big. That's pretty big, Papi. To lose 2 medevacs. Ay ay ay. Is going to cut into the overall army here of Vindicta. Meanwhile, we have skipped out in the Colossi, but going for disruptors instead. Bold move here. I love it. Look at NightMare. He just fans out his units. We have either a Zealot or an Adept or just an Observer everywhere. Just he has full map vision right now. It's crazy. He sees everything. He's playing with map hacks. Even pylons towards the north and south as well. Again, NightMare sees all. He's getting ready for his Purification Novas. Getting ready to catch the bio army here of Vindicta. He does find it. Another medevac goes down. Ah. That's 3 medevacs in like 30 seconds. My god. With that, Vindicta, he's stuck at home. Taking his third base, and to be fair, he hasn't lost any of his like high impact like DPS units like his tanks or any kind of marauders, but losing his medevacs does kind of keep him pinned back at home. He's going to have less drop play available to him. He's going to have less just support for his army overall. As we can see, NightMare setting up for a Zealot Rabbi towards the north, and the main army's pushing in towards the south. Here come the disruptors. Do we have enough to stop them? We have 2 disables being thrown down. 1 Nova will connect, but only a singular Nova. We have the rest of the army trying to dive on in, but Zealots make it into the mineral line. At least in the natural. Towards the north, these Zealots were cleaned up, so overall, a solid defense here by Vindicta. Is able to hold on. Meanwhile, NightMare is going to have to back off. He's going to have to respect the position of his opponents. But he still has so many Robo units. He's got 3 Disruptors and 3 Colossi. He's already making 2 units at a time, where he's got double Robo production. Cranking out 2 Disruptors. And we don't really have that much energy to work with here for another disable, and here we go. We do go for the disable on the Disruptor. The tanks are in position. They shell away at the Protoss army. A lot of good hits do go in here from Vindicta. As he doesn't commit, he will back off. I like it. I mean, pushing up a ramp into 4 disruptors is not going to work out for him. He goes for a scan, confirms the positioning of the army. I'm sure Vindicta, he wants to wait for his Raven to regather that energy. Never mind, the Raven was sniped. Okay. He's going to back off and look for his Ghost to gather that energy, as he is producing Ghosts as we speak. Working on that EMP energy. Meanwhile, a bit of a Zealot run by does get caught out, does get cleaned up here. It does also confirm that Vindicta is back at home. NightMare trying to set up another multi-prong attack. Again, just fanning out his Zealots all over the place. A ring around Vindicta, around the Terran. As soon as one Zealot goes down, we look to replace it here with either another unit or the army itself. Again, NightMare just trying to catch the army of Vindicta. And there's that replacement Zealot. Your job, to spot the army and die. Oh. For the color, Bobby, for the color. Meanwhile, the 4th base is being taken. Vindicta just, taking a solid fight earlier and just being pretty defensive overall. We have a sensor tower. We should be seeing another tower thrown down. There we go. Just looking to turtle on up here until he has a pretty respectable army to be active once again on the map. Go. Towers are thrown down here. The Observer just zooming on in. My god. Observer speed. Done? Yeah. I was like, there has to be Observer speed, right? Meanwhile, we do have a double drop here towards the northern side, but I believe it was spotted by the Zealot again. How could it not be spotted? We have units all over the map, and NightMare is getting in position. He's looking to catch that drop. Oh my god, there are so many Sorgers in position. There we go. They blink on forward. Both medevacs go down. Like, Vindicta, he usually does thrive on his multi-prong aggression, on his harass, but he just can't get any drop out on the map. Meanwhile, speaking of harassment, we have DTs on the way. They're going for either the tanks or the planetaries. They're getting the tanks! Ooh, 2 tanks will go down at the same time. A Zealot round back here towards the north. It will be cleaned up. SimCity's looking good enough here at this base, but yeah, losing those tanks does hurt Vindicta quite a bit. It does suddenly make this position so much weaker. Immediately, we do see that tank being repositioned. Bit of a scan as well. The army has been confirmed. As the DT set up another counterattack. And here we go, we blink on forward, the tank goes down. At the same time, DTs do waddle on in. They want the tanks! Oh, and they're gonna get one. One tank and the turret goes down. We're forcing Vindicta to try and chase us down in Civ 4. He does clean up all the DTs. What was that, like 6 DTs for 1 tank? A tank, a tower, and a turret. Still worth it for Vindicta overall. Oh, nice splits against that Disruptor. Observer does go down. As the Observer goes down, we set up for a triple drop immediately. But as we set up for the drop, we're moving on in. Oh, Vindicta, he doesn't have his whole army here. He's gonna have a hard time holding on. He does take down one of those Colossi with those Vikings. The drop gets here in time to deal with that Zealot run by. I don't think that was the purpose, but hey, you know, he does force the run by back. It's gonna cause NightMare to rotate over. He's looking for another angle of attack. Vindicta does scan the army, does spot it. What do we have to work with? We have 6 Disruptors, 1 Colossi. the Ghost gets spotted as Vindicta was trying to set up a flanking EMP. Cheeky moves from Miguelito. Speaking of, wait, no, but do we have a... We have nukes. I assumed it was a flanking EMP. We have nukes available. The Ghosts are moving out. Liberators have arrived as well. 1 Lib will get sniped. Oh, God. Disruptors will zone away the army. Liberators are moving out to harass as we speak. It looks like back at home we do have a couple of cannons, so yeah, those Ghosts have been having a hard time finding any damage. Here we go, we have a nuke on the army of NightMare. Does he see? He's looking for it. He's looking, Puff. He's looking. Okay, there we go. He's looking for the nuke. He will find it in the end. And it will help shut down this position. At the same time, the Liberators are also getting a bit of harassing damage across the map as well. Ooh, actually finding themselves in a really good position. At the same time, NightMare is pushing forward into the third base. But Vindicta is here in time to fend this off. Ooh, we'll lose a lot of Vikings, but he does get the last Colossi, and without Colossi, the Vikings are dead supply. Vindicta, he does have to clean them up. He's going for another nuke here towards the south. Double drop moving out towards the north. Finally, Vindicta, he has the map control to go for this drop play. The probes! 10 probes do go down to the nuke. At the same time, here comes the double drop, and NightMare is out of position. The cannon goes down, the mineral line as well. The empty medevac does get sniped, but the full one is able to escape in time. 19 probes in total. NightMare setting up for a counterattack, does get spotted by the Liberator, and Vindicta, he has to get in position. Oh my god, the mass scans. No, how does he not see them? No shot. He what was that, 4 scans from Vindicta, and he misses the carriers, he misses the Stargates. No. The Skytoss transition, despite all the scans. I can't believe that Migs didn't see it. That's such a shame. Ay, ay, ay. It was like 4 or 5 scans, like a massive circle around the production. These carriers have been kept hidden. We have 3 more carriers on the way. Liberator's doing a lot to harass. But again, Migs, he doesn't know about the Skytoss. Not yet. I mean, he's got a good bio army, but... oh, God. He's still producing more Liberators. Liberators, they help against the ground army of NightMare, not so much against the Skytoss. As I believe the carrier did... yeah, they did just reveal themselves. There we go. Vikings immediately start being produced, but Vindicta, he just threw away his Vikings earlier, and he has too many Liberators. Arguably. We'll see. The army is going to be rotating around, and oh, Vindicta, he gets caught with his pants down. He's out of position. Stalkers, they move on forward. They're going to be able to take down one of these Liberators and maybe open things up for those Zealots. At the same time, a drop here towards the south. A nuke here in the center base. No reaction. He doesn't see. Oh. Ooh. 8 probes will go down. The drop towards the south is going to be cleaned up. But here we go. The carriers, they push on forward. Novas are going to be going off. They connect with the Zealots. Not with the Bio Army. Overall, a good start to the fight here for Vindicta, but the carriers, is there an answer for them? Liberators forced to unsiege. Liberators forced to help with their anti-air just because we don't have much else. They do some decent splash damage to the interceptors. But NightMare is reinforcing with another wave of Zealots. Vindicta, he's in a lot of trouble. So here we go. NightMare does rotate on over towards that third base. Once again, trying to push up this ramp is such a tough ask. It's so difficult to pull off, and again, NightMare, he just can't do it, but he distracts the army. A massive DT counterattack is going to take down the planetary. And that creates an opening as NightMare does force his way up the ramp. Third base is forced to be lifted. DTs are being cleaned up, but they did get 8 workers as well as the base itself. Vindicta going to be picking up his CC and going to be taking this southern base here as an orbital. It will not be a planetary. It will mean that it's going to be vulnerable to a counterattack, more so than previously. Scan does confirm the rotation of NightMare. And here we go. Novas are going to be going off. Good target firing from Vindicta, but towards the end, a massive Nova does connect on the army. Ugh. Still a good trade for Vindicta. Like, he did kill, I want to say 3 or 4 disruptors, but with that massive Nova to the face, it does mean that Vindicta, he was going to have a hard time chasing this army. At the same time, A DT counterattack blinks up into the main. Jesus. Doing so much damage here. So many turrets going down. That will make the main base suddenly vulnerable. But we're not going to be slowing down. We go for a nuke here. We have an observer. Up. He doesn't see. Oh no! He doesn't spot the ghost. The nuke. The nuke will go down. Misses the army, but gets a mineral line. And NightMare, his economy is in shambles right now. We see a massive amount of scans. DT will be going down. But NightMare is down to 45 probes. He has a bank, but for how much longer? You know, every interceptor costs money. Every warp in as well. Every carrier. And Vindicta now has a pretty terrifying Viking count. He's up to 14 Vikings. That is now enough to contest against these carriers. Another nuke here towards the south. This time there is a reaction. This time NightMare does see it. Oh. The nuke play really coming in clutch for Vindicta. How many times has he been able to nuke the center base? I think that's the added value of the amount of scans that we've been seeing from Vindicta. So a scan on a mineral line isn't the most like sus of things. So it's hard for NightMare to really recognize where a nuke is coming in from. But he still has a pretty respectable disruptor count. He's got 6 disruptors, 6 carriers. A good amount of High Templar as well. 8 High Templar even. Yeah, and we're able to rotate over towards the third base once again. Well, the Vikings, they don't care. They do threaten those carriers. Don't get any carriers. They do deal some hull damage. A slight hull damage, actually. Vindicta about to max out. More nukes here towards the south as well. They don't stop, Pappy. They don't stop. Does he see? Uh-oh. Observer shows up just in time, but the nuke will go off. Oh my god. A full mineral line goes down. NightMare, no reaction. Observer was late. And again, his economy is just non-existent, but he still has a big army. Oh, he's not looking! He's not looking, Bobby! The disruptors! Oh my god! The EMPs, the liberators, so many disruptors go down. Vindicta just collapsing on this army. There's, I think, 1 Nova left. Yeah, 1 Nova in the backline. That's it. That's all he's got. And Vindicta, he can keep on pushing. The carriers have been kept here out of the center base, respecting the Vikings. They don't want none of that. We have a bunch of High Templar as well. Storm is done. Bear that in mind. We haven't seen any Storms this game, but it is available. Oh. The nukes, they continue, Papi. They continue. Meanwhile, is NightMare looking? Is he looking? Oh, the lips, they will siege on top of the army at the same time. Nova will not go off. This time NightMare does kill the ghost. He does find it. Couple more scans being thrown down, and Vindicta does get eyes on the would-be 6th base. 7th base even, of his opponent. Carriers are going for a massive counterattack. That means they won't be at home to defend. Bear that in mind. Nuke being thrown down here in the center of the map. It is going to be spotted by NightMare. He'll be able to shut it down with the DT. Solid EMP on the disruptors. We blink on forward to take down the libs, but it's not going to be enough. The liberators are far too oppressive, and NightMare has to respect that he has to back off. At the same time, he is going for that carrier counterattack into the main base. We saw earlier the turrets were sniped by the DTs. Yeah, and Vindicta has to turn around. And the reality is that as Vindicta turns around, these carriers, they're going to be able to pick off some of the production and then recall. Like, they aren't really in any danger at all. Or they shouldn't be in any danger. And as Vindicta goes back home, he exposes his bases. Oh, Novas are going to be going off. The planetary is going to be going down. We have a small bioforce, but it's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, the carriers, they don't even need to recall. They just fly away. So suddenly, in one fell swoop, in the blink of an eye, NightMare is back in this. Suddenly, NightMare cripples also the economy of Vindicta. Like, he's running out of resources of Vindicta. He needs another base. He needs a center base here. Carriers doing well for themselves, taking down not just some add-ons, but also a starport. ETs do go for a bit of a run by. We have high ground vision. Yeah, we blink up into the main. Once again, we're getting on top of the starports. Disrupting the Viking production, the Liberator production. Oof. This is actually doing a lot. This is actually getting out of control. A lot of add-ons are going to be going down. And Vindicta knows that he can't pull everything away because of this army. Like, he needs to take this base. There we go. We do have a drop here in said main. We'll be able to clean up all these DTs. At the same time, a lot of Vikings do get sniped. Southern base does get denied. NightMare fighting back hard. The carriers are getting ready to float back in once again. They're waiting for the Zealot to clear things up. Turret falls. He's been doing so well for himself, but the Liberators, no! 1, 2, 3, 4 Liberators go down, but we have the surround being set up. The Novas will find their connections. Oh, Vindicta losing a lot here in this fight. He's trying to dive on forward, but he cannot. At the same time, the carriers move in, and that was a rough fight for Vindicta, and now NightMare is going to be able to capitalize on that. In Vindicta, he was late to siege. NightMare was ready for those Liberators well ahead of time. And it looks like NightMare is just pulling apart his opponent. Vindicta, he sims on forward. He focuses down every single one of those disruptors. But Pure Blink Stalker, they don't need no disruptor. And the carriers as well. Oh my god. Getting out of control. Camping the production. Vindicta just racing back home here with his Vikings, with his Liberators. Does mean that these Stalkers, yeah, they can go for another base if they want to. It's not a planetary, not anymore. 3 Marauders hold the line. And gets a sea of Stalkers. I mean, hey, here come the reinforcements. Like, Vindicta not taking the worst trade. Does connect with the EMP. At the same time, the Vikings are getting ready to pounce. Vindicta, he's waiting for these carriers to get exposed. He's waiting for his moment. Being very patient with this Sky Terran army. Very patient. He scans. Does see the army moving away. Oh, we haven't seen a nuke in a while. Give us the nuke spot. The flanking nuke. The ghost is spotted though, so it's not gonna. Yeah, will be cleaned up. Oh, drop towards the south, takes down a mining base of NightMare, but NightMare has taken the northern bases. He's not really too concerned with the south. He has his 7th and 8th base. Vindicta's gonna have to do something about that. Harriers are moving on in. Vindicta getting in position with his Vikings. Liberators do siege up. Vindicta, he is able to defend his southern base here for the time being. Wait, the High Templar moving forward. We are going to be threatening with those storms. Main base forfeit here for Vindicta. For Liberators, they do keep up with the rotation of NightMare. They keep up for the most part. How many Liberators? My god, we have 13 Liberators. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god, the freedom is real. NightMare cannot engage with the mass amount of Liberators, but he's able to pick off 3, at least 2 Liberators here towards the south. Takes down the tower as well. Yeah, and Vindicta's still having a hard time keeping up. Goes for the scan. Does leave a force here towards the south. Gets a full energy High Templar and the Observer as well. Speaking of High Templar, we do have 2 here towards the north as well. They're going to be threatening with those storms. We do connect with the EMP on the Disruptors. But the High Templar do stand strong. Here we go. Suddenly, Vindicta has maxed out. It is his turn to lay siege upon the mining bases of NightMare. Solid feedback on one of those ghosts. Oh my god. A good connection as well, taking down 2 more. Yeah, and the carriers have to respect the Vikings. 1 carrier goes down instantly. The base will fall. Vindicta bullying NightMare back with those freedom zones, with the libs. Takes down another High Templar and a Disruptor. Ooh. Decent Disruptor shot goes off here, but Vindicta, he has the momentum. At the same time, Zealot counterattack, is getting a bit out of hand. Taking down a lot of SCVs, almost getting us around, but the repair will be good enough on that bunker. Libs are left exposed, but the 7th base goes down, and those were the 2 most critical bases for NightMare. That was where the majority of his economy was coming from. Vindicta will lose a lot in the retreat, but again, he killed these 2 fresh mining bases. Very worth it here for Vindicta. He keeps the majority of his Vikings alive. Loses some Liberators, don't get me wrong. But he does scan the army. Oh my god. Oh no, the Lib. Another one will go down. This is dangerous. We are down to only 3 Liberators. Vindicta losing maybe far too many of them too quickly. Now he doesn't have any freedom. We need more freedom, Poppy. We're running out. Oh, Nova will go off on those 2 Marauders. There's no Disruptors left. The Vikings overextend. A lot of Vikings are going to be going down. That will open things up for the carriers. Oof. Again, a bit of an overextension from Vindicta. Liberators do move forward. We still have 5 carriers, bear that in mind. Once again, the Vikings expose themselves. Oh, more of them do go down. With the death of those Vikings, here we go. The carriers are coming in to surround the army. And we don't have anywhere near as much anti-air. Not anymore. Vindicta, he's been fighting so hard throughout this entire game. He's had so many good moments, so many good nukes as well. But he lost far too much, far too quickly, and NightMare is pushing on through. 1 carrier is going to be going down, but the Novas, they go off. Oh, it's still very close. Still close, but NightMare will take the fight. He is able to take both of these northern bases as well. I was hoping this was like a marine run by, but no, we're long distance. We're both we're both long distance mining. So we're just running out of money in general. There's very little going on here. Again, that's why these bases are so important. Liberator does show up, but it will go down to a Stalker. Vindicta also running out of money. Here we go. We're looking to chase the army here of his opponents. SCVs are being caught out. Another base is being taken. The carriers move on in. These carriers, they've gotten so much value over the course of this game. We haven't rebuilt them. We haven't needed to. Only 1 carrier has... Oh, got down. Oh my god, a juicy connection. We can't afford these losses here. Vindicta takes a massive Nova to the... Oh, no! Another Nova as well. He sims on for it. He's going to get the Disruptors. He is going to be able to get this base in the end, but he is hurting so much. He's going to get a lot of pros, but here come the Zealots. GG gets called, and NightMare will take game number 2 and the series. GG. GG, well played. Vindicta, he fought so well. That was such a good game. That was such a good series. We only caught game 2, but GG, well played. NightMare takes it 2-0, and My heart goes out to Vindicta. It does go out. He fought so hard in that game, but a couple towards the end, we saw too many mistakes happen at once. If you remember, there was a little bit of mispathing, and Vindicta, he lost like 3 or 4 Liberators when he was retreating from the north. He lost a lot of Liberators, and then when he was defending towards the south, he lost a lot of his Vikings as well. And he wasn't trading; he was just losing them as he was retreating or as he was attacking and as he was moving forward. And yeah, after the death of all those Libs and Vikings, like there was no answer to the carriers. Like suddenly, the ground army was that much more threatening as well. Just things escalated very quickly in favor of NightMare. GG, well played. And with that, NightMare, he advances on in the tournament, and we haven't had the luxury of going over the brackets until now. Let's go. Let's have a look at what has been going on